welcome to Eurosport News. This was the scene today outside the Maggiore Hospital in Bologna in northern Italy, where 3 times Formula 1 world champion Ayrton Senna died last night after his horrific crash at the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola, just 24 hours after the death of the Austrian Roland Ratzenberger in a crash during practice. Supporters and admirers paying their respects to one of the greatest drivers in history, a true genius of the Formula 1 world, a driver many thought was untouchable. Fellow driver Pierluigi Martini was present outside the hospital, and as flowers arrived, 2 roses for Senna and Ratzenberger, the victims of a tragic weekend at Imola. Football matches across Brazil were stopped for a minute's silence yesterday as the crowds chanted Senna's name. Senna was a national hero in his home country, an idol in the eyes of a population which often turns to sporting successes to help it forget the problems of daily life. President Itamar Franco yesterday decreed 3 days of national mourning, during which flags will be flown at half-mast and all official ceremonies are to be cancelled. Franco said Brazil had lost an idol. He was suffering along with the nation from the death of a brave young man. Well, this young boy says he believed Senna was unbeatable. Senna was like a god. We loved him, not only me, but all Brazilians, said this woman. Well, this young man says other stars may disappear and be forgotten a little, but not Senna. Nelson Piquet, another Brazilian to have won 3 world titles, watched the pictures once again. He said a lot had been written about the Tamburello curve at Imola. He himself crashed there 7 years ago, but had luck on his side. The Brazilian government, as we've said, declaring 3 days of national mourning. Papers this morning. And the scenes at Imola yesterday as the news broke of Senna's death. Reigning world champion Alain Prost, who's now retired, said some people will say such accidents are part of the sport, but he wonders whether the problem is not due to a succession of rule changes. The Williams team pit after the accident. Frenchman Jacques Lafitte, who was himself forced to retire after an injury, said it was a terrible loss for motorsport. He said we're at the point of no return. Cars are travelling too fast, and if the crowds enjoyed the racing 20 years ago, then why did we ever need to drive faster? They could easily now cut 20 seconds off each lap during racing. Lafitte said the cockpits are so solid these days that a body can simply not resist the shock.
For me it was already the most difficult thing after yesterday. Okay, now it's again a good friend of mine, but once you're in the car, once you close your eyes here, you have to concentrate on other things. That's not the point.
The only thing I can say about this is I hope we learn from this. I think there is a lot to learn from, and we have to use this, and things like this, they shouldn't happen without taking the experience from it. It's the only thing I want to say and I can say.
The Formula 1 authorities have been the target of criticism for the weekend's events at Imola, many people believing the commercial interests of Fokker president Bernie Ecclestone and FIA boss Max Mosley have been allowed to take prominence over security matters. As sponsors' money and television rights have come to rule the roost in Formula 1, the drivers themselves have become merely showmen in a multi-million-dollar circus.